It started with a single, small yawn, just one, tiny, harmless, almost too quiet to hear, but oh, what a yawn it was. It came from a little girl named Naya, who had just finished brushing her teeth and putting on her favorite llama pajamas. Her bunny nightlight was glowing softly in the corner, and the stars outside her window were blinking like they knew bedtime was coming. Naya stood in her bedroom doorway, holding her teddy bear, just about to ask for one last sip of water when gone. It wasn't planned. It just bubbled up from deep inside her belly, like a hiccup wrapped in a sigh. Her eyes squinted shut, her arms stretched up into the air like they were waving at the moon, and her mouth opened as wide as a lion's mid-roar, and that was when it began. The yawn slipped out of Nia's mouth and floated gently across her room, invisible but full of magic. It drifted out the window like a soft balloon and sailed up into the night sky, sparkling just a little, like it was carrying stardust. And then it bumped into a squirrel. The squirrel Sir Nutley, as he was known in the trees, was just finishing his midnight nut polishing, but he had his tiniest spectacles on and was giving a walnut a final shine when suddenly his whiskers twitched. He sniffed the air, blinked, and why, a WWW unfell over backward into his acorn basket. The sound echoed through the forest. 3 owlets overhead blinked down from their branch, confused at first, then yawn dash yawn dash yawn. They fluffed up their feathers, wobbled side to side, and dozed off in a feathery pile. The squirrel's yawn had triggered an owl yawn, and the owl yawn whooshed up into the breeze, caught by the wind and carried across the clouds to the top of Mount Snormore, where a family of yetis were having a midnight snowball toss. But just as little Yuli Yeti was preparing a double swish slush ball, the yawny wind blew straight into her fuzzy nose. She blinked, dropped her snowball, and Yavone shivered into a fluffy heap. Her mum and Dad Yeti both looked over. "Oh no," said Papa Yeti, "not a yawn." But it was too late. Yapped, and soon the snowballs were abandoned, and everyone was bundled under giant marshmallow quilts made of cloud puffs. Now, that yawn was really rolling. It bounced down the mountain like a sleepy snowflake, floated across the ocean where it tickled the whiskers of Captain Claus, the grumpiest pirate cat to ever sail the SS Snickerdoodle. He was in the middle of a treasure map, Grumblewenyon. His eyes drooped, and his purr rumbled so slowly he curled up inside his hat and began snoring. "Captain down," shouted First Mate Pickle, the parrot. But it was no use, he yawned too. Then the crew followed, one by one, until even the sails began to droop with dreaminess. Meanwhile, back on land, the yawn zipped across fields of moonflowers, who opened their sleepy petals with a stretch. It fluttered through windows of cozy homes, tickled the toes of children brushing their teeth, and wiggled into the ears of puppies trying very hard not to lie down just yet. One by one, the yawns spread. A giraffe at the zoo yawned and forgot he was standing. He slowly folded into a nap pile with the zebras. A magician yawned right in the middle of saying abracadabra. and accidentally turned his hat into a pillow. A baby dragon in the enchanted forest yawned so loudly it singed a few fireflies, who giggled and flickered gently to sleep. Even the moon blinked slowly and said, "Well, perhaps it is a good time for a nap." Soon the world was wrapped in a sleepy hush. The stars sparkled softer. The clouds yawned wide and stretched across the sky. The wind curled up in the grass. Even the clocks slowed their tick-tocking just a smidge, and at the very center of it all, tucked into her bed, blanket pulled up to her chin, was Naya. She blinked one last time, her eyes heavy like rocks in her socks. She had no idea the yawn that had escaped from her little mouth had wrapped the entire planet in sleepiness. She only knew that her bunny nightlight was warm, her teddy was squishy, and her pillow smelled like bubble gum and dreams. Outside, the yawns continued gentle, magical, sweet. A baby kangaroo in Australia hiccuped, then yawned. A sleepy bear in Alaska dream mumbled, then yawned. A little boy in Brazil giggled mid-story and beyond. It went on until it reached one last creature, a tiny turtle on the edge of a moonbeam. He looked up, yawned so slow it took him 5 whole seconds, then whispered, "That was a good one," and fell asleep upside down on a mushroom. And just like that, the chain reaction was complete. One yawn, one sleepy, innocent, magical yawn from one little girl in her llama pajamas, and the whole world drifted off into the softest, calmest, dreamiest night it had ever known. So if you're lying in bed and you feel a yawn bubbling up, be surprised if it floats out your window and starts a whole sleepy chain reaction of its own. And if you feel one coming now, maybe even, right now, go ahead, let it out. Because you never know who might catch it next. Yawn, good night. You good night. World, good night.